Hi everybody. Whether you spend all day in video calls or whether you spend time creating video content, a good quality audio and video setup, it's pretty important. Now, I am not a video audio expert, not by a long shot actually, but I do have a good idea of what high quality video and audio output should look like. So what I'm going to do in this video is walk you through my decisions and the steps I took to decide between whether I use the Opal C1, a new high-end webcam that's been getting a lot of praise, or use the iPhone, which now has support to be used as a webcam from the latest versions of macOS and iOS. So I'm going to walk you through all of this. I'm not a professional reviewer, so note there's going to be a lot of non-scientific terminology and approaches used. So keep all that in mind. There'll be links for more professional videos in my description below, just so you have a much better basis of comparison if you want to go into more depth. Let's start with the Opal C1, a pretty new entrant into the webcam market. It supports 4K and 1080p recording via a Sony lens. It's an array of microphones to better capture audio, and there's a combination of hardware and software to make a lot of these end-to-end experiences nicer, better noise filtering, working across a variety of lighting situations, and more that dynamically often adapts to based on what is exactly happening at this very moment. And if we switch over to look at the iPhone, the stats are very similar. You have a pretty powerful camera that can do 4K and 1080p recording. There's an array of microphones to better capture audio, and just like earlier, there's a combination of hardware and software that makes all of the experiences work really nicely together. Now, the thing is, the specs for both the Opal C1 and the iPhone, they're not identical. If you go to the respective websites on Opal or on Apple's website, you'll see a lot of technical jargon and a lot of measurements and details that really talk about the technical capabilities both of these devices have. And to the untrained eye and ear like mine, they sound really cool. But the thing is, I'm not a professional reviewer. Those stats and those specs don't really resonate with me as much because I don't really care about them as much as I care about the final results and end-to-end experience. At the end of the day, is it a good setup that I can use as part of my everyday work or as part of creating videos such as this one? I don't want to spend days setting up a lighting rig and negotiating with cables and doing all the other stuff that some people genuinely do enjoy. And I'm grateful that there are people out there who do that. I'm just not one of those people. And so if you want that level of detail, definitely have links at the bottom for more professional reviews. But all I'm going to focus on next is, let's talk about the video. Let's jump to the Opal C1 and talk about the video quality that you see here. And here's a recording of me in my average lighting condition that I typically use for my work-related video calls or when I'm recording content. And you can see the Opal C1 produces pretty great results. The colors seem very vibrant. You can see the lighting in some areas is pretty dark, but you can still see the details of the image. So overall, a really good job by the Opal C1 in being able to reproduce the colors out of the box without any configuration or any tweaking that I did. Now, if I do want to make any adjustments, the Opal C1 comes with its own configuration software, which has a variety of configurations for being able to change everything from basic behavior, how the camera works, so maybe blurring out the background or making sure my head is always in focus if I'm shifting left and right, all the way to actual picture quality settings, being able to adjust the filters that are available for more of an Instagram kind of a feel, having automatic touch-ups or tone syncs. Again, all of this goes into the software side and this combination of hardware, AI, machine learning, and all these kind of really cool things that at the end of the day produce a really good video and audio quality with the capability and customizations to go further if you are so inclined. So the Opal C1 has a lot of really cool settings. Now, if we go look at the video quality iPhone, again, the iPhone produces really good results as well. And it, in many ways, mimics the same quality you would get if you would use the iPhone as a video camera. You use your phone, you're shooting something around you with the lens and using the settings. That same exact capability by default extends to the iPhone as a webcam as well, which is not a slight in any way. The iPhone has great optics and great audio recording capabilities. So being able to have that in your webcam, as you can see, gives you really great results. In terms of settings and things I want to tweak beyond the defaults, there's not a whole lot the iPhone at least provides right now. I can adjust how the audio is recorded. I can also change some video settings. In this case, you have center stage, which tracks your head and movement as you're moving on the screen. It has the portrait mode, which filters out and blurs the entire background. And studio light, which is something I've enabled, where there's more lighting on me to give me focus and less lighting on the background. So the emphasis is more on me, which is a really cool effect that I really like. So I have that one currently enabled. And if you do a side-by-side comparison of the Opal C1 and the iPhone, they're both very similar. You can see that the Opal C1 might have some more details in some areas and more blurriness in others. And same with the iPhone. You can see the iPhone has a slightly more grainy look in some parts of it, but has overall a nice sharp look in other areas. For the most part, there really isn't any one I'm going to say has a strong edge. I do prefer some of things in the Opal and some of the visuals in the iPhone, but they're both very solid contenders in this space. And so if you had to basically ask me for a recommendation, I'm going to say both are excellent choices. In terms of video recording quality, the iPhone is slightly better. In terms of audio recording quality, the Opal C1, especially with the array of microphones that it has, is slightly better. But when I compare the audio quality that came out of both the iPhone and the Opal C1, my dedicated Blue Yeti microphone turned out to be much better than both. These are, again, the thing to call out is the Opal C1 is still beta, still in development. The capabilities in the iPhone to access the webcam, also in beta, still in development. So these are things that may change over a period of time. But right now, I'd say that the iPhone edges out in video quality and the Opal C1 edges out in audio quality. But if you had to pick between both, you can't go wrong using either of them. So you saw my recommendation, but there are a few more details I want to definitely call out. So let's start with the Opal first. The Opal C1 comes with a monitor mount and it connects to your computer via USB cable. And if you take a look at some of the product promotional shots they have, the mount looks pretty cool and the cable also is really well done. It's a well-designed device. It has Mac only support right now, but Windows support is coming soon. It is priced at around $300 US. Now with the iPhone, to use it, you need a computer that is running on Mac OS 13 or higher, and the iOS version on the phone needs to be 16 or higher as well. The iPhone connects wirelessly. There's no cables required, but because the webcam support is not really a core iPhone capability, you need to invest in a stand or a monitor mount. A lot of them are available now and more will be coming in the future as the support becomes more broadly available. Now, if you're already vested in the Mac ecosystem, you may already be set. You probably have a high-end Mac laptop or desktop. You may already have an iPhone as well. So the only thing you really need to make sure of is that you have an iPhone capable of running iOS 16, which is a lot of iPhones, but not many of the older ones. So I think like anything older than iPhone 8, for example, may not be supported. Definitely check Apple's documentation and tech support requirements before going too far into it. And so if you're buying a brand new iPhone, it'll be around $1,000 at the base price, and it goes higher as you add more things. And older models, of course, will be a little bit less. Now, just want to make sure this disclaimer is available and that I'm writing this because I get asked a lot about what is my audio video setup like, what would I recommend, and so on. And that's why I'm recording this and sharing this with all of you. I'm not incentivized to write about the Opal C1 or the iPhone. I purchased all of these things myself, and so there's no real conflict of interest that you'll need to worry about. And so with that said, there's my very quick unprofessional overview of whether you should use the Opal C1 as your audio video setup for your video conferencing thing or using the iPhone as your primary device for your audio video. And the thing is, like I mentioned before, it doesn't matter. They're both very, very good. And given the constraints I kind of highlighted earlier around platform support, around versions, around pricing, one may be more interesting than the other. But the current setup I'm using, the one that I've been using for a while that you're seeing these recordings on, are using the iPhone as the primary video recording device. And I do use my Blue Yeti microphone as my audio recording device. Now, as all of these things change, as the software support changes, as hardware firmware updates might make things different, I may go back and revisit a lot of what I said right now. But as of this very moment, video is the iPhone, audio is the Blue Yeti, and I've been pretty happy overall. That said, if you have any questions or comments or want to just chat more about my setup, post in the forums at forum.krupa.com. And if you like this video, or if you didn't like this video, tell your friends and enemies all about it. Hit subscribe to be notified of new videos that I'll be recording. Follow me at Krupa on Twitter for bite-sized updates. Join my newsletter where a few 100,000 people every couple of weeks get to see something interesting about web development in more depth than you might see in my social media accounts. And lastly, if you like this visual way of presenting information, check out my books. I like to talk about web development topics in both paperback and Kindle editions. And with that, I will see you all next time.